It's your girl Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review for Zatima Season 3, Episode 5. The episode picks up where it left off, and Zach is asking Fatima why she's in the project, and Fatima is asking Zach why he's in the project. Fatima doesn't say nothing, so Connie is like, she came to talk to me for your mother's funeral and asked about her favorite color. Fatima's like, purple, right? Connie is like, yeah. Zach is like, you really thought she would know that? Connie is like, why wouldn't I? I talk to your mother every day. Zach is like, what y'all talk about? Connie is like, her dreams, her getting clean. But most of all, she was proud of you. Zach is like, I almost believed you. Connie's like, why I gotta lie for it? Fatima's like, well, think about the video she sent you. Connie leaves and it's just Zach and Fatima standing there. And Fatima asks Zach, what is he doing there? And Zach is like, I came to talk to Jeremiah. Fatima's like, I thought we were doing that together. Zach is like, no. Look, my brother's kind of a lying wire and you're pregnant. And if he says something crazy, I'm gonna have to go crazy. After Zach and Fatima are done talking, Zach tells Fatima that he's going up to the apartment. And that's when Fatima gives Connie a look like, help me, I don't know what to do. That's when Connie tells Zach that Jeremiah's not there. And Zach is like, what you mean? Connie's like, look, I've been out all day, I've been around all day, and I haven't seen him. Zach is like, you know where you at? Connie's like, no. He's still trying to make his way up to the apartment, and Connie and Fatima are like, no. Zach is like, what are y'all hiding? Why y'all trying to keep me away from the apartment? Zach is like, what y'all hiding? Connie is like, nobody hiding nothing, nobody did nothing. Zach is like, yeah, okay, because when I find out, it's not going to be good. Zach is like, did you do something to my mama's stuff, Connie? And Fatima are like, no. Fatima gets a text from Angela letting her know what happened with Bryce, and she tells Zach that Bryce trying to alive himself, and Zach is like, what? Fatima's like, yeah. That's when Fatima calls Angela, and Angela's like, I've been trying to call you all night. Fatima's like, well, my phone was off. Angela's like, Bryce was so stressed out about the money that he got in his car and ran into another car. Fatima's like, well, send me the information and I'm on my way to the hospital. Fatima tells Zach that she's going to the hospital and she wants Zach to come with her. Zach is like, what, I gotta come. Zach puts up this whole fight, but he does eventually wind up going. Over at the barbershop, Belinda's in there talking to the guys about what happened with Bryce, and she's spilling everything that happened about how he ran into another car. Mr. Tyrone is so sick and tired of Belinda, it's not even funny. He's like, what are you even here for? Belinda's like, I'm here with Nathan. Mr. Tyrone is like, well, don't you got a job to do? Belinda's like, yeah, I got a job. Mr. Tyrone's like, why don't you go to it? That's when Belinda starts accusing Mr. Tyrone of letting hoes come in the barbershop so that they could sleep with the man. And Mr. Tyrone is like, okay, cool, you could be a fool on the other side of that door. And that's when Belinda leaves. And Jeremiah walks in trying to sell his watch. And Tony's like, where'd you get the watch from? Jeremiah is like, it really don't matter. Just give me the money or you gonna buy it or not. And Nate is like, you really need to stuff that bag? Tony's like, let me see the watch. He passes the watch to Tony. Tony's like, this is a really nice watch. So Tony turns the watch over and he's like, oh my god. He's like, oh my god, Nate, look at this. He passes the watch to Nate and Nate is like, oh my god, Jeremiah, where'd you get this watch from? Jeremiah is like, Fatima gave it to me. Then he turns around and says, Fatima dropped it when she fell. Nate is like, which one is it? Did she drop it or did she give it to you? Jeremiah is like, Nate is like, get out of here because you ain't getting no money and you ain't getting this watch back. Jeremiah's like, so y'all jacked me? Tony's like, the way you jacked her? Jeremiah's like, I ain't jacked. He's like, you lucky I don't call Zach right now so he could be jacked. Jeremiah is like, y'all some son of bitches. And y'all the ones that scared of Zach, not me. I'm Jeremiah. Tony tells Jeremiah to get out the shop and Jeremiah don't want to hear that, so he's continuously smoking his cigarette or something. He takes a puff of it and drops it on the ground and said, that's for your dead father, nigga. That's when Tony lunges at Jeremiah again, but Jeremiah leaves. He's like, we definitely gotta tell Zach now. Tony is like, I'll definitely tell him. Nate is like, he better, because if you don't tell him, I will. Mr. Tyrone is like, you want me to tell him? Nate and Tony are like, no, man, we don't want you to tell him nothing. Over at the hospital, Fatima finally made it there, and she's consoling Angela like, I'm so sorry this happened, and did you hear from the doctors? Angela's like, I've just been waiting, and Angela's like, he's just been so stressed out about the money, and I'm very sorry about that, Zach. Zach is like, I'm sorry too. Angela's like, are you? Zach is like, yeah, I never wanted him to get in his car and crash into another car and try to alive himself. Zach is like, you sure he did this purposefully? Angela's like, yeah, I watched him do it. Fatima's like, well, did you even call his parents? Angela's like, no, because I wanted to talk to him first. Angela then admits that she doesn't even know his parents. That's when Zach and Fatima kind of give this look like, oh. Angela's like, I'm not even looking for judgment. Zach and Fatima are like, we're not judging you. Angela's like, well, we're only dating for a few months. And we weren't even that serious. We were just doing kinky stuff, and Zach and Fatima are like, we don't want to hear about that. Angela's like, my bad. That's when the doctor walks out, and she's like, are you here for Bryce? And Angela's like, yes. How's he doing? The doctor's like, well, he's okay. He suffered some injuries, and he has a few minor cuts and bruises, but other than that, he's okay. Angela's like, can we go see him now? The doctor's like, yes, and Zach is like, okay, well, tell me what happened. Fatima's like, come on, Zach. Zach is like, I thought it was only 2 people because the people at the front told me. The doctor is like, all of you can actually go. Zach looks very disappointed and he starts coughing on his way to Bryce's room, being very dramatic, right? Angela makes it to the room first and her and Bryce have a conversation and she's like, Bryce, are you okay? Bryce is like, I'm fine. Angela's like, do you want to talk about this? Bryce is like, no. That's when Zach and Fatima walk in the room and Bryce is like, hey guys, this is kind of embarrassing. I lost control of my car, but I'm alright. My neck kind of hurts a little bit, but other than that, I'm okay. Bryce was like, that car was a rental anyway. I had sold my car so I could give you the money at your mother's funeral. Zach is like, okay. Bryce was like, I was just so stressed about the money. That's when Fatima was like, tell him. Zach was like, do I really have to? That's when Zach tells him about the whole Preston thing and how Preston wants 33%. Zach is like, are you okay with that? Bryce is like, Preston got money like that, and of course I'm okay with it. Bryce was like, give me a hug, man. Zach was really reluctant to do it until Fatima is like, give him a hug. You see him sitting there. Zach is very reluctant. He gives him a hug. He says, watch your mouth. Bryce is like, really, man? After Zach gives Bryce the hug, he's like, look, I gotta go. I gotta get to the funeral home. He tells Fatima that he's waiting for her outside. Fatima stays and talks to Bryce for a minute. Bryce thanks her for coming in. Fatima's like, of course, and then Fatima tells Angela to call her when she gets home. So it's just Bryce and Angela in the room and they're talking and Angela's like, you sure you don't want to talk to a doctor about this? Angela's like, you drove into a car on purpose. Bryce is like, you didn't say that, Angela. Angela's like, yes, I did. Bryce is like, I'm okay and I don't need you to be here and let's not pretend like you care because you don't. Angela's like, well, I sat in the waiting room all night. If that doesn't prove to you that I care, I don't know what does. Angela's like, what's going to happen the next time something doesn't go your way? Bryce is like, it won't, because I got the money now and everything's okay. Angela's like, well, you don't know that. Bryce is like, I'm okay, though. Bryce is like, actually, you know what you can help me do? You can help me discharge myself. Angela's like, I can't do that. You need to do it from a doctor. Bryce is like, no, I'm getting out of here. Over at the funeral home, they're talking to the funeral director trying to pick out a casket, and the funeral director is like, we normally go with this one because this is what families choose for their mothers and parents based on the color. Zach is like, how much does it cost? And the funeral director is like, $18,000. Zach is like, $18,000? What the frick do you need with $18,000? How you gonna sell a casket with scratches on it for $18,000? The funeral director was like, can you calm down? We don't like to use a profanity around the death. Zach and Fatima are like, can they hear us? The funeral director is basically like, yeah. Fatima's like, well, can you find us something a little bit cheaper in the $5,000 range? Zach is like, $5,000? The funeral director's like, your brother said that you would say something like that. Zach is like, hold on, my brother? Zach is like, listen, I'm the one that's making the funeral arrangements for my mother because my brother has a substance abuse problem. The funeral director's like, that makes sense. Zach is like, what you mean? The funeral director's like, well, your brother came here asking, did your mother have any jewelry that you would want to put on her when you bury her? It's like, he came here with a Rolex and wanted me to buy it. Zach is like, well, that Rolex is fake. The funeral director's like, no, it's real. Zach said, you still got it? The funeral director's like, no, because I didn't buy it. Zach is like, well, do you at least have a picture of it? The funeral director's like, yeah. Zach is like, let me see it. And Fatima's like, no, you didn't got to see the picture. We're here to pick out caskets for your mom. He's like, I need to see the picture, though. Fatima's like, do you really? Zach is like, yeah. Zach is like, I really want to know how Jeremiah got his hands on Rolex. Fatima's like, can we focus on your mom right now? Zach is like, okay, but I just want to know how Jeremiah got. Zach is like, look at this picture. This watch is nice. He's like, I really want to know how Jeremiah got a Rolex. Fatima's like, I don't know. Then that's when Zach is smart enough and he lifts up Fatima's sleeve and he's like, where's your watch at? Jeremiah done took this girl's watch, tried to sell it to the barbershop people, but first of all, he tried to sell it to the funeral director and put it on his mama's arm. Oh, Lord. With the engravement that says, from Zach to Fatima. But let me know what you guys think about this episode. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. Bye!